This is the XRP 1 month overview reading for the month of August 2024. It's currently June 20th, 2024, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. XRP at the time of this reading is 0.4884, just under 49 cents USD. The shuffle video for the August XRP reading was created on June 9th, 2024 at 4:18 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a video playing for you in the lower left corner. The overall theme and behavior for August. So the peace card indicates some sort of flat behavior overall. Either that or there's an important resistance that's highlighted. Looks like there's a resistance level that we come up against many times and fail to break through it, at least in the early part of the month. And then we've got a decline that turns into a rally into highs towards the end of the month. It's crossed with a prominent move higher on a multi-day scale, followed by a full retracement of that move back down. And behavior around the highest high for the month of August, we have a decline out of the highest high to and through support to meet another support that's on a multi-day scale, and we rotate sideways along that second support. Behavior around the lowest low for the month of August, we have a decline that ends with a fast sudden move higher. There's a definitive trade there at the low. And we're going to get into the day-by-day chart behavior, as well as finding the highs and lows and the best trade opportunities, all of that in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing, as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube tips, and that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get back into it. All right, so there's an important resistance on a multi-day scale that's highlighted there on the first and the second. A big move out of oversold territory to reach it on the first, and then it's highlighted on the second, an important technical price level on a 1-year chart scale with a prominent peak probably there at the beginning of the day on the second. That turns into a prominent trough on the third, where we decline to revisit a support level on a multi-day scale that we met before. Decline continues. Oh, matter of fact, there's a peak at the beginning of the day on the 9th. A lot of price change from that support level on the third into a peak on the 9th, and we sell off from that peak through multiple support levels. On the 5th, we have a notable move higher in the beginning of the day to a peak. It won't be as high a peak as the previous peaks we've spoken about thus far. And we sell off from that peak down to and through support. We do a U-shaped reversal below that price level, come back and reuse it as support with a trough towards the end of the day. On the 6th, we have another peak early in the day and a sideways fluctuating decline that precedes a rally on the 6th, taking us to key resistance on the 7th that we failed to break through many times before. The rally on the 8th, looks like there's a breakout at least temporarily there on the 8th. It's a breakout, but it doesn't hold. It's a trade opportunity. I'll talk about it in more detail on the paid version. On the 9th, another big move to the upside, another trade opportunity with a breakout, again, that doesn't hold. And then on the 10th, we have a prominent trough that'll stand out on a multi-day scale, followed by another peak on the 11th, where we move through key resistance. We stay above it briefly, and then we break back down through it shortly thereafter with the full, not necessarily with a full retracement, but there's a decline back down through that price level. On the 12th, we have a decline through support to meet another support. We rotate sideways along that support before breaking down through multiple supports. And out of that decline, there's a rally along a diagonal trend line that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. I think that rally probably takes us into a peak early in the day on the 13th, where we have that fast sudden move higher, taking us to a prominent peak on a 1-month scale, and then we decline pretty notably from that. It's a period of volatility on the 13th, with a sharp drop that'll stand out in that period of volatility. On the 14th, a U-shaped dip that forms near the intersection of two perpendicular diagonal trend lines. It looks like we go from the peak on the 13th to a trough on the 14th, and back to a peak on the 15th with a big move to reach it, a big move to the upside to reach it early in the day on the 15th. It's a rally that increases with momentum moving forward in time. Before we go any further, let's take a look and see how we're doing for June thus far. So that was on the 5th. We had a high for the 4th, ended up being on the 5th. There was a highest high thus far on the 2nd, because we declined from there, right? Another peak on the 3rd, that's a cross-reading congruency, right? We declined from that and then returned to it the following day. Ace of Swords, erratic behavior, revisiting a crest. Decline on the 5th, decline on the 6th. And it looks like I had a prominent trough on the 6th, ends up being on the 7th. And then we had another one on the 9th, and it looks like we were a little bit early there. It ended up being on the 11th. And this high didn't end up holding up. This high over here on a couple of the, I feel like I had a high instead of a low in a couple of places with these Princess of Swords. It happens occasionally. So that was probably the biggest error in June out of all of my 1 months, was that I have a highest high significator here, but it ends up being a lowest low. That's got to be my biggest error, I think, yeah, by far for the month of June. Anyhow, we have this full card opportunity on the 15th. Boom, look at that big move, right? You could close out of a long, you could open up a short and close a short there on the 17th. And then we've got a low coming up on the 25th. I think we're probably going to see that. If we have a low over here around the 25th, 26th, this will pan out pretty well. It's just that one high that really, actually these two highs didn't really pan out, but aside from that, everything held up. The trades thus far are pretty good. If you open up a long position in the midst of a decline on the 2nd, you could have closed that long position the very next day at key resistance. That would have been a solid trade. If you missed that, you could have closed it the next day for even better trade. So on the 6th, excuse me, on the 4th, I would open up a short and look to close it on the 6th. It would have worked out, but if I held it until the 7th, which is really what I was looking for, that would have been even better. Full card on the 15th would have opened up a short. Would make money if you timed that correctly. It would have been a bit of a tricky one. And then on the 18th, we have the science card, which you could open up a Matter of fact, you could open up a long position on the 17th and close it early in the day on the 18th, and that would have held up pretty solid. Most of the majority of these trades, like 9 out of 10, something like that, pretty solid trades, guys. Actually, I don't think there was a losing trade thus far in XRP, even though I got that one low wrong. So that's just it, guys. For the most part, aside from May, which was like this fluke month out of like years and years of work, never seen anything like it. It was crazy. But aside from that, when I'm wrong about a reading, guys, it's usually like just one little piece of the reading. You shouldn't just scrap the whole thing if I'm like wrong about a high, because the majority of the other information is still going to be very valuable. Hopefully that makes sense, my friends. If you're interested in the paid version, it's a really great way to support the channel. You're getting information in the paid version that you won't find anywhere else in the world. This is super undervalued information. Literally, only place you can find it is at Tarot for Traders and the Investor Profit. What you're getting is the timing of the best trades, what type of trades to make, also what type of chart behavior to look for as far as entry and exit into and out of those trades. You get any trades from a multi-month and a multi-year standpoint, and then any price level information that we're able to extrapolate. This is super valuable information. People with the paid version are making money. So the way that you get the paid version, you go to our website, Tarot for Traders, you hover over our services, click on SO Meta Posts, and then you want to scroll down to monthly subscription, click here to order. You can subscribe to any one of these individual crypto or ticker symbols for $2.49 a month, or you can get the all paid version, which gives you access to all of these crypto and ticker symbols for $4.99 a month. Not to mention, you are also getting any one-offs, any custom monthlies that people order for that month, and any monthlies that I do that are relevant to that part of the year. So there's going to be different monthlies coming out month to month, and you would have access to all of those paid versions through the all paid version. The most popular way to support the channel, and not to mention, it's a really great way to get my attention. So thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does that, and let's get back into it. On the 16th, we have a lot of price change covered. There's a rally out of a prominent trough to reach a resistance level. Wow, there's a lot going on. There's a sharp decline and also a rally into the end of the day out of a prominent trough. A lot of volatility there. I'm advised not to chase that rally into the peak at the end of the day. On the 17th, an important resistance level highlighted on a multi-day scale. We have 3 pokes through that resistance, followed by a decline off of that 3rd poke. On the 18th, a lot of volatility, a lot of price change, and it looks like we have a strong decline there. On the 19th, a mixed sideways S formation within the channel, so you will decline from resistance all the way to support, reverse and return all the way back to the original resistance, and then reverse and retrace all the way back to that support. That retracement to that support continues the decline continuing into the 20th, offering trade opportunity, and either on the 20th, either starting on the 20th or on the 21st, there's a rally reaching for distant resistance on a multi-day scale. But be careful, because this is a unicursal hexagram mark-off point, so either there's a sharp drop around the 21st, 22nd as well, or more likely in this case, we're marking off a price level that we're going to break down through in the next major decline. So that resistance, if we don't have a sharp drop on the 20th or the 21st, I would say mark off the resistance that we reach for on the 21st, and that'll be a good universal level that will probably break down in the not too distant future. It looks like we continue rallying on the 22nd. Actually, there's a breakout on the 21st, and rally continues into the 22nd along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance to meet another resistance before pulling back to somewhere between those 2 price levels. And then we have a major fake out, intentional fake out or shake out, some sort of tricky chart behavior, an indicator falsely triggered, something along those lines on the 23rd. And we go from a prominent peak all the way to a prominent trough in one day. A lot of price change, erratic behavior. On the 24th, there's a prominent trough there as well. But in the midst of that erratic behavior, we likely revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. Another breakout on the 25th, although it doesn't look like that 25th breakout holds. There's another peak there that forms with some bumping along resistance, and then a sharp decline out of that fake breakout to the downside, taking us to another prominent trough either on the 25th or on the 26th. On the 26th, a lot of price change covered. Another sharp decline and a resistance level that we decline from and return to in the not too distant future. On the 27th, we have equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow, sideways rotation, sideways fluidity along key support on a multi-day scale. On the 28th, we have a period of volatility that ends with a fast sudden move higher. There should be a sharp drop there as well, and a lot of price change. On the 29th, we have a prominent peak at the end of the day, a lot of price change and an important support level on a multi-day scale that's highlighted there. Looks like off of that peak at the end of the day on the 29th, there's a pretty sharp decline. A lot of price change taking us into a key support level on the 30th. That's important on a 1-year chart scale. Usually that support can be relied upon. And then on the 31st, we have a pop and drop back to a prominent peak on a 1-month scale. A lot of price change covered there as well. And then the sneak preview for September, we have the completion of a rally, a multi-day rally. So we should see, when you see the completion card, usually it's like a rally that turns over like this, like a hump, rather than like a sharp peak. It's kind of like a hump. But that's XRP, the public version for August 2024. We're going to get into the paid version where I talk about the timing of the highest highs and lowest lows for the month, as well as any cross-reading congruency information. What do I mean by that? We look at the different time scale readings of overlapping time. I'm going to talk about the best trades, what to look for as far as entry and exit into and out of those trades, all that stuff, and maybe even some price level information if I extrapolate it. All of that in the paid version. Stay tuned if you got that. Everybody else, I'll see you guys on the next one. Blessings to all my angel investors.